Hi, this is IK. Welcome to trying to remove confusion about promise. About promise. Okay. At first was HTTP protocol. Spoke between talking web browser and web server. And they exchange message. But when we want to take some part of that message and incorporate in some function outside of that function, of that communication, if, for example, response is okay, can we take it, okay, and said if response is okay, call back this function. Callback was first confusion possible, known phrase hell of callback. A lot of callback. If not okay, if error, call back this function. If okay, call this, etc., etc. And it was, we can said, second phase of development, HTTP, callback, and a process go that to be simple, more simple, and promise was created 2015. It is JavaScript 6. JavaScript version 6, and it is last version, principal revolutionary version of JavaScript. And we have promise. And promise is object with the method 10. And it is very, very simple. If happen this in that communication, 10 call back this, 10, 10, 10. It means that again we have callback, but now with method 10 and more structured, more simple than before. And 2 years later, 2017, they create more simple. It is they create a keyword, async, this keyword, async await. Behind that two keyword code, there is a lot of job instead of us, and permit to us that we code like it is synchronized. There is nothing what we see here that is complicate callback 10, 10, promise 10, method 10, etc. No, it is, we code it like it's synchronized. But that two keyword it means that behind of that is promise object, and we must await that promise object. This Axios post request, return post is method or function, parameter inside, return promise. That HTTP request return promise. Return promise for us to take what we want and give some other function. It is always same direction. We want to take part of communication, hypertext transfer protocol, and give it some other function. Use it in our code. And it is with promise. And with promise, it functioned excellent. You see how simple it is use promise, but we now have promise. Post axios.post return promise, and that promise have response. That promise have payload if all is okay. That promise have response data, and if there is an error, response have response data have that error. Promise take something what exists in communication, exist error, exist payload, and promise take it and give it to whom we want. Give it to some function in our programs. When Redux thinking how to solve problem of asynchron, Redux is a big, robust manager of state, and state coming from outside of our program, from some other server, database, a mock server, etc. And Redux don't understand, cannot read asynchron process, asynchron code. And how solve that problem team of Redux have in front of them? They solve creating middleware. I read somewhere that middleware, there is only 53 statement, 53 row of code. And that middleware open door asynchron code, some code that go in asynchron, that go out of the program, go out where is address endpoint, communicate with server, here is with mock server, and respond error or payload. And that response HTTP request axios.post return promise, and promise have fulfilled or return. And the team in Redux create envelope around promise, and that envelope, it is thunk function, and thunk function take from unwrap, take from promise error or payload, and with that error or payload dispatch it to reducer, dispatch to reducer. If error, change state. If before there is no error, now there is error, it is a new state. If fulfilled, payload, send payload. Before was array with 5 posts, now will be array with 6 posts. It is like that, history and the development of that, and development of that. It means that asynchron and await keyword is here, that we don't code method 10 of promise callback, but only sync and await, and write this axios post address endpoint, and here second parameter is initial post. And return response data. It is a return of promise, and the thunk function addNewPost is created, and that creates asynchronous thunk. That function was coming with the Redux toolkit, the newest version of Redux. That function coding behind scene in background, that function is part of middleware and create our addNewPost. It means that return response data go to reducer, but we don't have a lot of words, a lot of code about that. We have this small code, and somebody must say to us, must learn us, hey, people, this response data go to extra reducer. It is down. And somebody must say, what is it in data? In data is, concretely here, in data is ID, title, content. What ID, title? ID, title, content. Title, content, it is what we send, what we post from our form. Post to mock server. And ID is working on mock server. Mock server give ID, because only mock server know what ID is. And response is ID, title, content, same that what we send. It is only one post. And that one post we must incorporate, we must, that payload, that post, we must add our array on the screen. We see on the screen post, and we must now add, and it is function push to existing array in our browser. It is array post, it is a state, and it is out of reducer. Input of reducer is action and object action and copy of the state, original state, and that input action coming from addNewPost. addNewPost send immediately when we click in form. Here it is. Immediately when we click in form this button on click and call this function, and this function dispatch. When happen dispatch addNewPost, same time start first dispatch, it is dispatch pending. It is process of waiting what will be with asynchronous process. And click on button, here it is dispatch addNewPost, and addNewPost thunk dispatch first pending type of action. That pending, that waiting type of action, what will have for payload? Nothing, because not finished process. But our state, there is three properties. It is post array, it is a status, and it is error. That pending type of action will have a loading, status change. Stat was before idle, now is loading. And that loading go back to would be dispatched to a reducer, and state will change. Status idle change now in loading. In the user interface we arrange that we see that we see loading, animation or other, and it is first dispatch of thunk. After some time, mock server incorporate addNewPost, NewPost incorporate push. How? We don't know. It is some software in mock server who does it and respond, all is okay, and send back in response. There is a response data. In that data, response.data, in that data is ID, title, and content. Thunk function give that information of promise, that response data, give that, return that to reducer. We call that extra reducer because of asynchronous process that we have difference in naming, but it is for Redux, it is all same, like reducer. And go in extra reducer, there is object build, here in post slice, there is object builder, here it is. It means extra reducers, there is a parameter here, builder, and in body of that function we have a builder object here again, and dot add case. It can be right like this also, but better visible when there is a more possibility that we write it like this. And builder object, there is a method add case, and for addNewPost, when it is fulfilled, here it is, string fulfilled, we have state and action. It is parameter of input of reducer, and here is state posts dot push. We can write like this, but this state would be copy. It is IMER library, create copy of this state. It is original actual state. In our example, it is after fetch, after get method, we have post what we have. And after add new post, we have a new state. And that new state would be created by copy of old state, one post less, and push to copy, push that our ID, title, content, and create new state. Copy, push, new post, create new state. Take care difference between request response before, when we have only one direction data and the data stay in server, and we must refresh that we see new data. Now we have not refresh because same data what we send to server, same data go back to go in server, because we must send data to server that other people who coming to that server see that data. But you see that data immediately by payload, by response.data. Promise take data in response, and fetch and thunk function take from promise and give it to reducer to add case function, to add case method. Add case method. Here is, if fulfilled, it would be state.post push action payload. What is action payload? Action payload is ID, title, content. Action payload. What is initial post? What is initial post here? addNewPost. addNewPost. What is initial post? Initial post title and content only, and we see in console log it is object. It means that without our intervention, when we click submit on addNewPost form, type title, type content, and set submit, that title and content in background would be object with curly brackets, would be object with two properties, title, column, and value what we type, comma, content, column, properties content, column, and value of the column what we type. That object is initial post. When we look in console, what is initial? We see that. Title and content go, it is here second parameter, in fetch, in get method. Look at, we have no second parameter because we only get, we only fetch data, fetch post, and fetch complete array from a mock server. Now we send from form, we send the data, title and content, send to a mock server, and we must have this parameter. In that parameter is data, what we send. We send title and content, and back that title and content coming on the mock server, and mock server know there is a software how unwrap it initial post, take properties and create a new post, new member of array. Array we call plural, posts, and inside of that is post, singular. Post is members of that array. And that initial post is object with properties title and content and value of them. Coming on the mock server unpack, unwrap initial post, take title, take content, create and incorporate that new post inside of array, and that operation automatically in that server create ID, and mock server responds all is okay, and here is a response.data, response object and .data properties, because there is in response there is other thing, maybe okay number, some number, what means all is okay, etc. Or contrary, if there is error, would be information about error, message of error, numbers, what means error, etc. And response.data is interesting for us because in data is payload. What is payload? Payload is ID, title, content. What we do with that? We return, co-return, thunk function, take from promise and return to extra reducer add case method. What will do with add case method? Will send it to, it will be input of reducer. It would be action of reducer. What to do with that payload? We do with reducer will do with that payload what said action type. Action type said addNewPost fulfilled, and that payload and string, it is two properties of action. Action is object, there is a string action type, and payload must have action type because action type said what to do with the payload. Here it is. Here it is. addNewPost rejected. Here is fulfilled. What to do? This is one parameter of add case. It is a string action type, and that string said what to do, with whom, what to do. What to do with payload? Here is a payload. Action is object, payload is properties of that action. Action also, there is a properties type of action. And when is fulfilled, addNewPost fulfilled, it means what to do. It is right. We coding. When fulfilled, does it state.post.push action payload. Push action payload. Push ID, title, content. Push array to array. Posts plural. Array. Posts. And if our array had 5 posts, now we'll have 6 posts after this. And on the screen we will see 6 posts. This process, when we send and when we receive same data, only one post, is faster than if we need complete every time complete array from a mock. Install in mock server, install new post and take all array back like refresh. It would be like refresh, but automatically without our will. And now we here automatically come back only that post, and that post we in React Redux application, front-end application, we program, write script by what incorporate it in our existing state of array. And the big role of that is Redux. Redux is a manager. Because of that, he know what happened outside in asynchronous process. But Redux, it know only thanks to middleware and thanks to function what coming from middleware. It is thunk. We call that function thunk. That function communicate, have support in middleware, and that function dispatch action type pending and dispatch action type fulfilled or action type rejected. Now I said that thunk dispatch three times dispatch pending, fulfilled or reject. No, thunk dispatch only fulfilled or reject. It is like promise. Promise have return error or it's okay, give us payload. Only two times, one or other, only one of them, and dispatch thunk would be dispatch only one. But why we have who dispatch pending type? Pending type would be dispatched immediately. It's okay. Immediately, addNewPost immediately dispatch when we start submit button. Because it is like we submit button, press submit button, we can create dispatch from that button, dispatch, but okay, addNewPost dispatch it, because we have about that. The fetch post can dispatch how many times we want and what we want, and it is only one solution for thunk, that asynchronous request from mock server or other server, but that asynchronous process, that middleware, and that middleware we use for all process when we must go out from our programs and inform Redux and inform Redux, but thunk function, yes, and it is clear. Now we have that example here, and we have only thunk is connected to promise and take from promise. Thunk also send error or fulfilled, send to unwrap method, what we see in, but we don't coding, we don't need coding something for fulfilled unwrap, but we need unwrap for error, because only like this we have information about error on component addNewPost. Very, very, very complicated and very, very, very confused, and very, very hard to me to understand, and I learn it a lot of time. And when I understand it, again, something I didn't see and didn't understand, and I a lot of working with talk with async artificial chat GPT, and I must say it is something excellent. My productivity is big. I didn't search through internet, but I talk with but artificial intelligence, chat GPT, have a lot of error, can be very, very wrong, and confused, unclear, and because of that I don't know how is your experience in using artificial intelligence. And I hope that a long time I can sleep in peace, because of artificial intelligence give a very unclear response. But in that unclearness, I see something what is useful for me, and around that I ask and give respond to my asked, and artificial correct, and after 1 hour, 2 hours of talking, we have some conclusion together. And very artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is very wide. You ask some simple question, he respond all history, and you must focus them. You must focus. Sometimes must ask. It is like this. Say yes or no, nothing more. And the artificial said yes or no, nothing more. Must take care of that. Or if I use them in grammar, at first I said, how would say this English sentence Native American? Oh, he write 5 sentences. He write one long sentence. And after that I said, okay, correct grammar in this sentence. Correct grammar. And excellent work. He correct grammar. Sometimes also give me one biggest sentence, but you say no. I want strictly what I said. And you correct, does it okay? Grammarly. But it must not be like Native American. No. Okay. And I said that it's very hard or confused hard for me, but I learn, work, what is important. I work in practice, that practice you see here, and only connected with praxis, I can step by step understand more and more. And after that I have confusion how to say beginner, how to explain beginner, because in programming, like in math, all is connected. You must know all what is was before in previous lesson, and it is like in programming. You are beginner, but you have no previous lesson. And I must give you first lesson, second lesson, third lesson. But in first lesson, there is a lot of other lesson, but what you need to understand. In second lesson, third lesson, fourth lesson, there is all from first to third, first, second, third, but also need a lot of knowledge from other lesson. But how to explain all, and because of that cannot be to understand. Beginner and my lesson, I satisfy, very satisfied what I have subscriber, but there is comment about video, can ask and other people can explain. It's very important that you learn, you read other content from other people. Very, because every of us say something different, what can be very clear to us. Okay. Add new post. One times again. this very small part, this little text, little script, but lot of theory. And conclusion of that theory, I can say that there is a layer here. Add a new post, a wrap or ladder. What wrap? Wrap this Axios post, hypertext transfer request. Wrap request. And request return promise. And that return promise, for example, response data, take addNewPost. addNewPost wrap around request, request return promise, but promise cannot get out because addNewPost wrap around and addNewPost take unwrap promise. And see what have in promise. Does it error or it is fulfilled? Payload. Again, addNewPost thunk is last layer around and only layer around request. Request return promise. Promise return error or fulfilled. Add a new post like outsider, like wrapper around all that. Take what he want, and he want what promise return. It is in response.data. And that response.data give to extra reducer, to builder, to method add case. And method add case is reducer. And all about that reducer have action object, what to do with payload, all is in case add case. And reducer is received that action and create a new state by immutable way. All that reducer is because of immutable mutation in immutable way. Immutable way means that reducer actual state, that state would be copy from IMER library, and new post would be push to that copy, and it is new state. Compare that new state with actual state, and if there is a difference, remove, don't delete, but remove state from output of reducer and create that create new state on that position, new actual state. Okay, step by step, a lot of practice and a lot of reading about React Redux, reading posts of many authors of posts, and it is like that. You cannot shortcut in learning. No. It's all for this video. Thank you for watching this video.